goal is to replace the tensioner and the air conditioner pulley bearing, or the whole assembly. I bought both. That's a tiny little bolt. Hold on. So I just replaced the belt, but this pulley was sloppy, and then the tensioner up there is sloppy. So I wanted to leave the belt on to take out that bolt. That's only a 10. So the first step of every repair is make sure that your new stuff looks right. And I don't think my new stuff is right. So this is the clutch plate. And that might be the same size. And then this is the pulley. That is definitely larger. So I'm not optimistic that this is going to fit. There we go. Now it seems to be gripping just on the clutch part of the pulley. There we go. So that worked nicely. That's not very tight, or that bolt's not very tight. And just a bigger oil filter wrench. No impact required. So 10mm bolt. And this should theoretically slide out. Be careful because there's probably shims on it. Oh, that's not a flathead. Don't pry hard because there's friction material. I don't know if it's giving me trouble because the belt's on there or not. Oh god. So I just broke that up there. I'm gonna try taking the belt off and see if it falls right off. The tensioner is right above my head, So I should be able to do that pretty easily. Did that change anything? Not really, but now you can see, possibly here, that that pulley's wearing out. Because I can fit my whole screwdriver in there now. Remember when I said careful about shims? My particular one hopefully has 3 shims. Looks like we got 2. Because one I heard hit the floor and roll away. So here's the shim stack that was on mine. Got 3 washer shims. So in that kit, those are the same size. They hopefully have the same number of splines. Or at least the same size, and they do, so I'm not out of luck. So worst case scenario, I can just slap that on, hopefully. So I guess we'll continue our adventure. One thing So I've removed the snap ring, and this magnet down here just kind of taps off from the backside with a block of wood. And then up here, the electrical, obviously you can't really get in there. So I came in with a screwdriver up on top and kind of had it angled and tapped the end with a hammer, and I got it loose because it's finger tight now that it's loose. The plug is up here, so to get the top part off, you just press the tab on the back. To get the bottom part off, allegedly you can just press in the tab down here and it'll slide off, but it's rusty, so I went up top and tapped it down with a hammer. That's why the bracket is bent, but I'm trying to keep this intact because these are Amazon parts. So at this point, I'm just going to loosen this screw and pull it off. So I took the little screw out, and now we got the ground and the little clamp for the other wires out. If you, I don't know what's keeping that on, but if your clutch doesn't work, if it's completely dead, I would personally just cut the wire and then maybe add some wire and ground it anywhere metal. You could probably, that's not very easy. I don't know if that goes into oil or not, but just find a bolt head. Probably this one would be ideal. Add a little wire, loop it down here, and have that be your ground, instead of fiddling with this, and then just cut the wires off the old magnet. So there was one more clip, this little Christmas tree thing holding this wire. Probably gonna end up zip tying it in the same place. I'm gonna be replacing everything because this is starting to bubble along the seams, and it may last for a long time or it may not. And since I got it off, it'll hopefully last the life of the vehicle. But the other reason why I'm doing the whole kit is, so on this you can see the friction material, and I assume that there's supposed to be friction material here, but the clutch has maybe Honda has a different design, but it looks like it's just metal on metal doing the whole thing. So the other reason why I'm replacing this is because if you take the crusty old one and put this pulley on it, it won't go all the way in because it's crusty. So it's too crusty for this to slide on there. I don't know what's been going on in here. But if you put the new one in there, it slides right in and there's room. Because if I put the pulley all the way on, I wouldn't even move. It was so tight. So I'm gonna get this new electromagnet installed. Looks like there's like a locator pin inside. Okay, so there's a pin on this piece, and that fits in the upper right quadrant, it looks like, which makes sense, because then the wires come out the top. And so there's the remnants of a little nub there. That should keep it from spinning. And we'll run the wiring and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I run the wiring. So you guys can't see very well. And I'll make sure that the pulley isn't going to rub on that. But I put some of the split loom over this wire. Probably not necessary, but it's running through here. I have it zip tied to that bracket and plugged in there. For tightening that screw up on top, that screw, I used the screwdriver method just the other direction. I was thinking that if I had my screwdriver bits, you can probably just use a regular wrench, but just take a screwdriver bit that would fit into like a cordless drill or something, and you can probably put it in here and tighten it like that and loosen it like that. But now we're going to reassemble this and hopefully everything works. So the Amazon kit comes with a bag of snap rings, a new bolt, and I think a couple of shims. Okay, make sure that the pin on the back's lined up and the pin in the lower right corner's lined up. It should be about the 5 o'clock position. And take your snap ring, put it on there. I don't think that's seated. So, just snapped into place, hopefully. I like to make sure that it's good by rotating it. Looks like it's down in its groove. Now the pulley should slip right on. This is where I was having trouble before replacing the magnet, is when I slid the pulley on, and the pulley just literally slides right on, and it should slide off for you. That's why you probably don't need a 3-jaw puller. Wait for the traffic to go by. It's nice and quiet, so that's good. So now this is when you'll need those shims, because you don't want a gap here. I'm gonna go look up the spec, because I'm a little worried that the pulley's slightly bigger, that I'll have trouble getting the belt back on. But there's supposed to be a gap between this and that. So originally there were 3 shims. The shims go in the bottom of here. I'm gonna put both shims that came in the kit down the hole. So you put them down inside the hole down there. We'll see if we have a gap now. Put that on a couple of threads. And I do not see a gap. I'm going to try putting in the original shim stack. There's a little bit of clearance, so I'm going to go look up the spec and see where we're at. Okay, so what I found was that the clutch gap should be between 0.35 and 0.65. And I have a 0.635 feeler gauge. I think I'm gonna have to, that's not tight, but it's should be good. So that's probably too much. So I'll take out one of the thinner shims. So I took out that shim, and now my 0.645 won't fit. Once again, I'm going to take out the 0.65. This is so it fits, but there's quite a bit of drag. With that, it fits nicely.